What's up, Fantasy A Team Nation? I'm your host, Josh Jenkins, and today's video, we are going to reveal Week 7 top tight end matchups. But before I start the show, I'd like to welcome my good friend and co-host, Zach Roberts, back to the show. Welcome back, Zach.
Hey, what's up, Josh? Thanks for having me back. What's up, A-Team Fantasy Nation? Thanks for having me. We appreciate all the love and support for all these last videos we just posted. Man, can't believe how many people have been watching. It's just blowing up, people. We appreciate it. Keep liking, subscribing, and sharing it. We appreciate it. So let's get to our tight end matchups. But before we do, we want to talk about Kelsey, Waller, Andrews. And I know TJ Hawkinson's kind of been a little bit banged up, but all these guys are super studs, and when they're on the field, they're a mismatch. So when they're on there, man, when they're available, whether it's a regular start or if they're injured or on a bye week, you can't. But if they're available, you start them every week. All right, so who you got as number one?
All right, the first name I'm going to throw out there to you is Mike Gesicki. Miami Dolphins. This week goes up against the Atlanta Falcons, ranked 14th against the tight end. Last week, he had 8 receptions for $115. He didn't find the end zone, but he had 1 red zone target, so they was trying to get the ball to him.
Yeah, and he's been on the waiver wire videos before. I don't think he was on this week, but I know he was on last week. So, yeah, I really love this matchup. He's one of the guys that I've started to really have a lot more respect for. He's very athletic, and it seems like, he's a mismatch for a lot of the linebackers and safeties. So, or even if a corner happens to get on him. So with that, man, Tua and Brissett, Jacoby Brissett, when he was playing, they utilized him as a good safety blanket. So right now with Devontae Parker coming back, there's going to be a lot of double teams with the safeties across the top on either side. And with that happening, he's going to be open over the middle a lot and down the seam. So I look for him to have yards to go up and for him to be utilized. Now, Atlanta still has a decent, they're like middle of the road versus the tight end, but it's still going to leave the mismatch. And people like him and some of these other guys we named that are athletic, like this guy, got good hands, he's going to get the ball and be a chance in a red zone threat. So with that, I think he gets somewhere between 50, 75 yards and a touchdown, maybe even 2 touchdowns this week. I look for Tua to utilize him whenever he's flushed out of the pocket, whether he's throwing to him or Gaskins out of the backfield, because it's going to be hard to get the ball to Waddle and Devontae Parker. But I believe Waddle will still get his because that guy's a super beast. So,
yeah, I agree with you. I believe he'll still get his. They're going to double team someone, probably Waddle. So that'll open up the doors for him and Parker.
Agreed.
So next on the list, we're going to go with Noah Fant. Denver Broncos this week. They're taking on the Cleveland Browns, number 8 against the tight end. Last week, he had 9 receptions for 97 yards, 1 touchdown. They were looking for him in the end zone because he had 2 red zone targets. What's your thoughts?
Well, yeah, I love this matchup, but it's still a tougher matchup because Cleveland's got a good linebacker core and decent safeties. They're just hurting it everywhere else, it seems like. So it's going to be a little bit tougher matchup. But Noah Fant is an athlete, man. This kid can play. He can run with the ball. He can run without the ball. He seems to find the open areas. He's kind of like an Antonio Gates I like. I think he's like a young Antonio Gates out there. So I think he's going to have another big game, maybe not as big as what he just had. I look for him to have somewhere between 50 and 75 yards as well, and probably a touchdown, maybe 2. Like you said, they're looking for him in the end zone. He gets a lot of red zone looks and touches and goals to go. So we'll see how he does, but I look for him to perform really well this week, and you can definitely play him because it's a great matchup.
Yeah, I would agree. That tends to be Teddy Bridgewater's second target other than Cortland Sutton. So I look for him to have similar numbers to what he's been having.
Yep, I agree.
All right, next, we're going to go with Ricky Seals-Jones. Washington Redskins. This week, they take on the Green Bay Packers, 19th against the tight end. Last week, he had 4 receptions for 58 yards and 1 TD. What's your thoughts?
All right, so yeah, versus Green Bay, I really like this matchup. Could even love it. He's been busting out really good the last 2 weeks. especially since, Antonio Gibson's been banged up and has had a little bit of a problem getting going. And so they're always going to throw to Mr. Automatic Terry McLaurin. And so when he draws a double team, and with this week's matchup, Green Bay's a little bit weaker versus the tight end. So I think Ricky Seals-Jones could get open and run the seam, maybe even probably get that touchdown. I think his numbers should actually go up more than he had last week. He only had the 4 catches. He could have probably 6 catches for probably 75 yards and a touchdown, maybe 2. He's very athletic and a big body, and they're going to utilize him down to the red zone, especially since Antonio Gibson, I think, was held out of practice this week and limited. So he's going to be limited on the play count, snap count. So that means more chances in the passing game to go to Ricky Seals-Jones because they're going to double McLaurin.
Yeah, I'd agree. Other than Terry McLaurin and Antonio Gibson out of the backfield.
Everyone else on the team is too inconsistent. That's the problem.
Yeah, so that seems to be his next best available target. So,
because I had high hopes for Washington's offense, I thought maybe they could get something going this year, but it's kind of the wheels have kind of started to fall off of it over there. So you got to find the bright spots, and he's one of them.
All right, next, I'm gonna throw out there Hunter Henry, New England Patriots. They faced the New York Jets this week, 23rd against a tight end. Last week, he had 2 receptions for 25 yards, 1 TD, and 1 red zone target. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, so, I know he had a tougher matchup last week, but he still got the touchdown. Him and Mac Jones in the red zone are just honed in on each other. They have great chemistry already. Everyone knows how Belichick likes to use a double tight end set there in New England, and he's utilizing it a lot this year again. It helps set up the run and help protect Mac Jones. Since he's a rookie, he's got a real good IQ. He's real efficient. So even though Hunter Henry only got the two targets or whatever, he made the most of it.
Yeah, I agree.
Sorry. Excuse me. Sorry.
Other than, Jacoby Myers, Hunter Henry is probably going to be the next in line.
Sorry about teasing people. I didn't mean to. Apologies. But Hunter Henry's going to get used a lot more this week with the 23rd ranked Jets defense versus the tight end. So, yeah, I look for him to have way more yards this week and more chances, more targets. So he'll probably have somewhere between 4 and 5 catches, maybe even 6, and probably get somewhere between 45 and 65 yards. And they were looking for him in the end zone. He could end up with 2 touchdowns this week versus the Jets. So seems like Belichick owns the Jets too. So
yeah, I agree. Last and certainly not least, we have Kyle Pitts, the Atlanta Falcons, going up against the Miami Dolphins, 16th against the tight end. We don't have no fresh stats from him, being that last week, week 6, was his bye week.
Yeah, but coming off the bye week, he's going to be really healthy. They're going to have him, some wrinkles installed in the offense specifically for this matchup. Miami's got a pretty decent core defense with the safeties and the linebackers at 16th ranked. But I still think that Kyle Pitts is an athlete and he goes off. And the week that before the bye week was the week where he had the huge game for 11 receptions for 149 yards and 1 or 2 touchdowns. So I can't remember the exact stats, but he had a huge game. It was kind of like his welcoming party into the NFL. Now that you got Calvin Ridley back, Pitts is going to draw some double teams because of what he did before the bye week. But now with Ridley back and Gage and Mike Davis and the rest of the crew there, they're going to be throwing for a lot with Matt Ryan under the helm. It doesn't matter who's running the routes. The guy's, Matty Ice. So he's got ice in his veins. He's going to throw to anybody. But I think Kyle Pitts still has a huge game this week, kind of feed off of what he did before the bye week, and he had some chance to rest up and, study up what they're going to do this week versus Miami. So I believe that him and Ryan have a lot more chemistry built up since when Ridley was there, since his game that he last played. So, and Ridley and him already have chemistry. So I look for Atlanta to throw for a lot of yards this week, and Pitts will probably get somewhere around, 75, 100 yards and 2 touchdowns maybe.
Yeah, I agree. Between him and Cordell Patterson,
Oh
and,
yeah,
and even Gage.
Gage is.
So, but to me, I think those two are his number one targets. And last week or week 4 last, it was really obvious that Kyle Pitts was his favorite target. So I expect big things out of him this week.
Yeah, they really started to have some athletes. Hopefully that might help turn around their season because they're having a hard season this year, offensive or not so much offensively, but as far as winning games. So they put up a lot of yards and points, but they're still losing. So they're one of those teams that could easily flip this around. It's still early in the season with that week 7. So
yeah, I agree. Guys, there you have it. Our week 7 top tight end matchups. If you need a tight end, go pick one of these guys up, plug them into your lineup. If you need to stash one for a bye week, go grab them, throw them on your roster. If you enjoyed this video, give us a like, hit that subscribe button. If you have any comments, questions, drop them down below. Hit us up on Twitter at Fantasy A Team 1, and we'll get to them as quickly as possible. And remember, friends, don't let friends auto draft.